betrayed. I feel betrayed. I feel lied to.
Stabbed in the back.
Because Robert knew about something on Netflix and did not tell us about it. And this is a thing. This is a big thing. So our prayers have been answered, guys. Final Fantasy is coming to Netflix.
I don't know if it's a big thing.
It's kind of a big deal.
It really
is. It the sequel to Advent Children?
Yo, you drinking that Crystal Light? I mean,
are they bringing Aerith back to life? Like, what is this? So tell me. I need to know what's happening.
It's Final Fantasy VII 2 Revenge of Aerith. You find out that Aerith was Sephiroth the whole time, and she's come back from the dead to kill Cloud.
That sweet, sweet fanboy nectar I need to sustain myself. This is what I want to hear.
Nah, it's actually a zombie shooter spinoff of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I wish.
Do you now?
I want Final Fantasy Netflix. Can I have it, please? Can I have?
I thought you were saying you wanted. I thought you were saying you wanted a Final Fantasy shooter. Anyway,
I'll take it all. Just put it on Netflix. I just want it.
Metal Gear Survive Final Fantasy edition.
Right. So it sounds like we have Final Fantasy on Netflix now.
Okay, so this Final Fantasy on Netflix isn't. It's not. God, I just feel bad that I have to destroy your, I think, hopes. I'm not really sure what you're doing, but Final Fantasy 14, Dad of Light. That is the show that's on Netflix right now. You can watch it if you have a Netflix account. You can just stop listening to this podcast. Well, don't. Keep listening to the rest of this podcast. Then when it's done, put things down.
What is this show, and how long have you known about this?
I've known about it
shook right now
for 3 hours.
Did it? So it just came out today,
dude. That's like 4 years in internet time.
That's true.
How long is it? How long is it?
Okay, so it came out. I think September 4th. So it's been out to the public for like at least 2, maybe 3 days. I'm not really sure. It came out in September though. It's only 8 episodes, but from what I've read, the 8th episode is like half a recap of the first season and then like a small twist at the end. So it's like kind of weird. But it's pretty short. 1 season, 7.5-ish episodes long. And
it's a sitcom.
It's more of a dramedy. A drama comedy.
How far did you get?
So I only watched 1 episode today, and I'll be honest, I laughed a lot more than I thought I would. And
it's a comedy.
I felt more feelings than I thought it would because it's also a drama.
Drama.
A dramedy, yeah. No, okay, so the story is like it's really sweet in the beginning. They show a flashback of like the main character, his name's Akio. This is a Japanese dramedy, by the way, so like subtitles, just warning you right now, you're not going to hear this in English.
This is live action. There's a live action Final Fantasy show on Netflix. What is happening?
They're not cosplaying. It's literally like a son and a father, right? So the son is like, it starts off with him being like bored in the house. He's like, what, 5, 6, 7 years old. And then his dad's like, hey, son, let's buy a video game. So he goes out and buys a Super Nintendo Entertainment System and Final Fantasy.
Super Nintendo. What year is this?
Well, this is the flashback.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right. And they buy Final Fantasy, and at first it's like the kid being like, yeah, I'm gonna kick your butt, like, yeah, I'm gonna use fire, and like just having fun. And then he goes to bed because it's bedtime, and then you find the father when it's like really late at night. He's sitting there in front of the TV and he's like having fun playing a Final Fantasy game. Like video games.
He
can bridge ages. And then then it jumps to modern day. The kid's grown up, he has like a job and everything, but he still lives with his parents. But he and his dad have become estranged.
Oh, I know where this is going now. Okay.
And then the dad retires, and the son's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy you a PS4, and I'm gonna buy you Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn. By the way, the name of the first episode is A Relationship Reborn. It's great. It's good stuff. It's amazing.
Wow, they spent all of 2 minutes coming up with that name.
Yeah. No, and here's my favorite thing. Like, instead of saying, hey, Dad, we haven't talked much recently, let's reconnect by playing this online massive multiplayer game together. Instead, it's like, here, Dad, play this game. It's an online game, so everyone you see in the world is real. And then he scurries off to his room to find his dad as his character to get to know his dad through the online world.
That's about right. You know what? That's
great strategy.
That's like eerily accurate to like how it would happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how people bond now, is through the video game. Like, all right, I know we're sitting together on the couch now. We can sit at the dinner table, and have a good conversation, but let's just go into the video game and talk there. It's fine.
No,
I'll see you there.
It's not even that he knows I'm his son. It's literally like, I'm going to pretend to be a stranger who's helping him out. And get to know him as a stranger to maybe see what's going on in his life, so I can understand
so he's using the
him.
game, to like hide his identity.
Yeah, and he's playing as a femme cat girl, while the dad is playing. The son is playing as a femme cat girl, and the dad's playing as a human. It's great. The dad's screen name is Indy Jones. Like,
wow,
it's a great moment in the episode, because like, the son's like, oh, you get to make up your own name, because everyone gets a unique name, so what's your name? And the dad's like, I don't know, let's make it Inoue, which is like a pretty generic Japanese name. And the son's like, oh, but you could be anything, like you could name yourself anything, like think of, like you're gonna save the world in this video game, so think of the name of a hero, an action movie. And then it just hard cuts to him playing, and the screen name says Indy Jones. It's really great.
Wow.
Plot twist. They like, this show actually takes a plot turn, and like the dad turns out to be a pedophile.
Oh God.
Oh gosh. Jesus. Dark turn.
Yeah.
Wow.
You said his son is like a female cat. He's like, yeah, dude.
It's a little
all predatory
weird.
and
It's
shit. Like, it's all weird.
Oh,
I want to know, like, what I want to know is how long are these episodes?
20 minutes, 20, 30, like 20, 24 minutes.
So you're telling me there's 8 24-minute, this is basically an 8-episode, 24-minute long Final Fantasy 14 advertisement.
Yeah, no, this was legitimately paid for by Square Enix. This is actually like a 5-minute commercial about Final Fantasy 14 spread across 8 episodes.
Like, I got so excited when you said, hey, have you guys heard about the Final Fantasy show on Netflix? And me and Collin are both freaking out like, no, we haven't even heard of this. And then you click on there and it's this stuff. It's like, oh, okay.
See, you know what this sort of reminds me of? Do you guys remember back in like, I think it was like 2010, the ad campaign rolled out for Ocarina of Time 3D with Robin Williams and his daughter? Do you guys remember that?
No.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, see, Jack.
Because they named their kid Zelda after the game. So Robin Williams' daughter's named Zelda.
Yeah, so it's literally just like Robin Williams with a full beard in this commercial,
3DS,
sitting with his
right?
daughter sitting with his daughter on a couch. They're both playing 3DS and they're both playing Zelda, and he's like, yeah, you play a like out of this world hero who goes and like saves all of time and blah blah blah, and it's a great thing, isn't it, Zelda? And he looks like emotionally over at his daughter.
yeah, I know. And they play the sappy music. Yeah.
And now
I remember that.
Now it makes me cry every time because of Robin Williams. But
the feels,
Yes,
and it sounds like the show on Netflix has a lot of feels going on in it too. I don't know if I can deal.
Honestly,
feels.
a little bit surprising how much I kind of cared about this father and son. Even though I'm watching this knowing like this is an advertisement for a game I played the free trial of that I've still decided not to buy. But it's surprisingly not the worst thing I've seen on Netflix. Like I've watched Beyblade Metal Fusion on Netflix. That's pretty bad.
It's deep water there, right?
It's bad.
Oh god, I didn't even know Beyblade was still a thing.
It shouldn't be. They should have let it rip literally, but they don't.
It doesn't have to be a thing on this show though.
Ripperoni.
We can pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, this is our own universe.
Yes, so those are great examples of where video games and just gaming culture bring people together, and it's beautiful. It's a really beautiful thing. But I've got a story to tell you guys, the other side of the coin, where gaming, nerd culture, the whole shebang just pushes people away and drives people out and alienates people and shames people. And it's a story about D&D. Do you want to hear it?
Should I get a box of Kleenex first? Or
No. It's not erotic at all. So,
and here I was getting a little bit excited. Dang it!
No. So
what's the story you have about
Collin,
Dungeons and Dragons?
I know.
Hold on, let me go change my pants first.
No. So Collin, I know you have played D&D, right?
Yeah,
and you have as well, Robert. So I've never played it. I'm on the periphery. I'm on the outside looking in. It's always been around, but I've never been asked like legitimately like, hey, like on this day and time, like we're all doing D&D. Do you want to play? Like it's almost never happened. Like people always just tell me about their awesome D&D. I'm like, oh, that sounds nice.
Wait, so like, are you one of those people that think it's a board game?
I don't think it's a board game. No, I'm pretty sure. So let me just tell you though, like let me state for the record, I am open to playing D&D. Blanket statement. I'm just, I'm open to it. I'm not closed off to it. I think it's fun. I play a lot of games that like go by D20 rules and all that stuff. So I have, more than a basic knowledge of it. And I know there was a stupid movie in the 80s about D&D. But anyways, so here's my experience with D&D. This is like in the early 2000s when I was in a band and I was rooming with our guitar player. He was heavy into D&D. And so I worked, he worked like day shift. I worked like night shift. So I'd be coming home like, I don't know, 11:30 at night, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night. And a couple times a week, I'd say 2-3 times a week, I would come in the front door. And if the lights were down low, I knew what was going on.
Sexy times?
D&D was going on. And this is the scene. This is the scene I walk into,
Lights
guys.
were down. I just knew D&D was going.
I know.
That's like a really bad porno.
It just became a pattern because here's what I would walk into right after like working at like a rib restaurant for hours on end. So anyways, I'd walk in, the lights would be low. In the living room, they would all be huddled around the coffee table. It was cleared off. They had like a map out and they had little figures and stuff out there. And he had like a couple like oil lamps lit. Okay, so it was real.
Wow, taking it to the next level. Dude, with the oil lamps.
Hold on. I haven't even begun. Okay, so they've got a couple oil lamps lit, and the DM, the dungeon master, sitting there in his like throne, basically, quote unquote. And everyone has their paper and everyone has their dice or whatever and their rule books and stuff. And some of them have like swords. And they're like swords, and they're like kneeling like at the table, like like how you take like one knee with your sword.
Hold on,
and some of them had helmets on.
Jack,
this is what D&D is,
no,
right?
No, Jack, hold on.
This is what it is.
Hold on.
It's just.
Are we talking Toys R Us like plastic swords?
No, we're talking about like the metal ones, like replica swords.
We talking like full tang, like battle ready, like let's do this right now. Like
yeah, they got their full tang orange juice on.
So guys, okay, this is my experience, right? And so I'd walk in and they would be like, hey, and I'd be like, hey guys, and they'd be like, they'd all grunt and eat their Cheetos and popcorn and
speaking orcish
pretzels and stuff. Yeah. So then I'd go into my room, which is really close to the living room. So I would just go in there, and ironically, I'm sitting there playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, right? Which is like a D&D game, basically, in the Star Wars universe. So I'm playing that. They're playing D&D, but like all night long, this is what I hear. So I walk through that scene, and I just hear, like, it's kind of quiet, but then the DM, I can hear him talking just like through the wall or something like that. And I just hear like kind of Charlie Brown parents kind of noise. And then every like 15 minutes or so, you just hear him talking, and then it would get quiet, and then everyone at the same time would just go, whoa. Like every 15 minutes. And then the DM would say something else, and then, whoa. It's just like that was the cadence. That was the cadence that I had to live with. I was like, all right, I guess that's D&D, so I know everything I need to know now.
No, I can confirm. Yeah, whenever I get together with my friends to play D&D, it's pretty casual stuff. We get our dice, we get our papers, we wear our robes. Some of us wear shining armor. Usually we bring swords we buy at the Renaissance Fair, and we smoke a little bit of Kush before then, to kind of get that good whoa going on.
Whoa, yeah, you're Keanu Reeves on.
Yeah, no, that's really weird. Are you sure they weren't on any substance? Like it's a little.
I can't say beyond a shadow of a doubt that there wasn't something going on. I never saw it, but
yeah,
anything's possible for sure.
That's like why D&D was like getting the flack that it was in like the 70s or early 80s, because like you guys know the befuddled
movie
history of D&D, right? With like them. Is it the movie? What are you guys talking about? This movie is it like a documentary or something?
Wait,
no,
you don't know
about the D&D movie?
Wait, I know some live action movies that are pretty bad, like for D&D.
No, there's like one live action movie. I don't remember the name of it, but it was based on a book written by a dude in the 70s who was like, D&D is literally like full of Satan worshippers, and like it's made by the devil. And
that's kind of what I was getting at. Yeah,
I'm talking about the movie. It's just called Dungeons and Dragons. It's directed by Courtney Solomon, and it came out in 2000. That movie, guys.
Oh man,
I think I've seen that one though too.
Marlon Wayans is in it.
Yeah, it's bad.
They got a Wayans brother in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad movie, honestly.
Well, anyway, the reason why it was getting all that press and being associated with like Satanism and all that shit was because there was an instance in like the late 70s and early 80s. Don't remember like all the details, but there was an instance where something happened in the game and some conflict broke out between either the like two players or like a player and the DM, and one of the dudes ended up like attacking the other with their weapons because they were role playing with weapons in hand.
Wow.
Well, did he roll a d20 first?
He must have rolled like a D1 and said like, nah, fuck you. It was natural. It was a nat 20. Like
D&D jokes, everybody.
Anyway.
Wait, what even would a D1 be?
Yeah, I know. It's like,
did I say
D1? Flat disc. That's a D2.
But that's a D2,
so.
yeah. It's like,
oh,
it's
shit.
like, wait, it's like you're about to reach the D1. Your DM's like, don't touch that. If you flip it over,
No, yeah.
shit's gonna happen. Like, don't flip it over.
The whole the universe is just going to fold in on itself.
Yeah, you're going to start a black hole.
Anyways,
Don't
excuse
roll the
my misuse of the
D1.
English language.
Whatever you do. Fuck.
Yeah, but anyway, yes, it ended up with someone getting an axe to the face or something and getting killed. So,
man,
yeah.
This podcast is full of dark turns. Speaking of dark turns, Robert, maybe we should intro the show.
It's
Maybe
a dark,
you think?
This is a dark
put
show.
an axe to
Yeah.
the face of this damn show.
Welcome
This
to
is the longest podcast intro ever.
Welcome to the dark edition of the Tiny Disc Podcast, a show about games and life. I'm Robert Scarpanito, and I'm joined here by Jack Cepeda
Bong bong.
and our good friend Collin Sparling.
Rolling a nat 20.
Hey,
that intro,
Collin,
though.
I got a tagline for you. Now, feel free to use it. You don't have to use it, but designer popularized it, and it goes like this. So let's do the intro again, but just introduce Collin Sparling, and I'll do his tagline.
Okay. Tiny Disc Podcast, and our good friend Collin Sparling.
Bra, bra.
Wow, you should see the waveforms on my recording now. It looks like really bad.
Oh no.
It's okay, but you feel free to use that. Feel free.
Yeah, we'll just have Robert sample some air horns too while we're at it. Why not?
Yeah, I'll remember to do that.
Yeah, please no. Oh gosh, we'll just turn this podcast into a Pitbull song.
Oh no.
Yeah, except Pitbull doesn't actually rap. He just has people featuring his songs and he doesn't do anything.
Welcome to the Tiny Disc Mr. Worldwide podcast.
Oh yes, I like it. We're off the rails already.
Are we though? What rails?
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Must have rolled the D1 wrong.
That's what happens when you touch the fucking D1. That's why they tell you.
Wait, then what's it? What the fuck's a D2 then though? Is there
coin? It's literally a coin.
It's
a coin.
I'm fucking done, dude. I'm leaving. All right, I've like reached new fucking levels of like idiocy.
You know what the numbers mean, right? It's like the number of sides.
D1. That's what D1 looks like. All right, we gotta keep on. We got some. Come on, professional guys. Podcast face.
Critical failure, man.
Podcast face.
All right, so I guess I'm gonna talk about Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Do you want to flip a D2 for it next time?
Okay, we're running this. Okay. We're running this joke dry.
Oh yeah, let's just choke this horse out. Just choke this horse out till everyone leaves.
Shit. Yep.
Okay, so we do talk about video games sometimes.
We do.
Yeah.
All right. So Life is Strange, the prequel. I kind of didn't know what to expect from Before the Storm, because I'm a huge fan of Life is Strange. That was probably one of my favorite games to come out of 2015 because
Same.
it was like a Telltale game, but better. Like I've definitely played it way more than I played any other Telltale game because I always get a different group of friends together and I'm like, guys, let's play this. Like let's sit down together. Like get together every week or something and play through this game because it's a trip. And I think all of us, like you two have played it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't play it myself, but I watched Let's Plays of the whole game. I couldn't really get away from it. The story was pretty engrossing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually ended up. So I actually bought the game on a PSN sale. It was like $5 for the whole game. I liked it so much. I actually went out of my way to buy the collector's edition.
Oh, wow.
And my local GameStop had one copy left, and it was their display copy. And now you can't find those for like anything less than $50-$60 on eBay.
Mm-hmm,
nice find. Cool, man.
So Before the Storm is the prequel to the 2015 hit, but it's not published by the same people. It's not published by or not developed by Don't Nod Studios or Don't Nod Entertainment, because they're allegedly working on a Life is Strange 2. So they outsourced this prequel to another dev studio called Deck 9. They go by another name that I don't remember, but I know
is it Tech 9 as in the rapper?
No, it's not. But they did previously develop a game. I can't believe they developed this game. Do you guys own PS3s?
Yeah.
Did you ever see or play that game called Pain? Pain?
It sounds so familiar.
It does. Was it like a real cheap kind of like downloadable?
It was a cheap downloadable game where you just have a character and you fling them at walls and like try to get different bonuses by knocking stuff down or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a casual kind of like a take on like a Wii game almost, right?
Yeah, it was like a
ragdoll physics. Yeah, I remember that.
They developed that game.
Wow.
And now they developed Life is Strange Before the Storm. Still published by Square Enix, of course. So it released August 31st, so last week, for $17 for 3 episodes. So only the first episode's out. So if you buy it right now, you won't get the full story. It's just the first 3.5, 4 hours ish. That's kind of how long it took me to beat the first episode. And they came out with a deluxe version that you can buy for like $25 that I'm kind of iffy on. Because
what is it?
So yeah, in the deluxe version, they have like 3 extra outfits that you can choose for the main character to like dress her up different, which I guess is cool. And then like a mixtape mode where you can change the background music in different scenes. And then they're locking away a 4th bonus episode behind the deluxe edition.
What?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because this is my primary concern when we talk about a sequel or a quasi sequel or a prequel being handed off to another development house. So I'm worried about it tarnishing like the reputation of the series, like because I think Life is Strange does a lot of interesting things. It is a little rough around the edges in parts, but I think there is a good game there. And I would be worried about the B squad, right? Like ruining it. I'd rather almost wait in my head. Like, no, let me just wait until like the A team like comes out with the proper sequel. So that's why I'm kind of thinking like, should I skip this? Like, is it really like, a worthy kind of successor to the last game?
Is this an Arkham Origins?
Exactly my point. Yeah. I totally skipped those games.
So it is an Arkham Origin, but it's a good Arkham Origins. I think it's really solid because the strength that I think Life is Strange has is that its characters, you care so much about them by the end of it. It's not like, I mean, playing the game is fun too, like solving the time travel puzzles and all that, like it's interesting. But to me, the strongest part of the first game was its story and like how it treated its characters and how it made them so memorable.
So you see a lot of the old characters from the original game. Are they the same voice actors?
Kind of, yeah. So I'll get into that. So in this prequel, you play as Chloe, the best friend of the main character in the first game. And the prequel, you're playing 3 years before the first game happened. So this is like 2 years after, I mean, this isn't really a big spoiler, but 2 years after Chloe's dad dies and after Max leaves Chloe. So she's like...
That's a big spoiler.
Not really. Like,
okay. All right.
I don't think so.
It's not the main part of the game. Okay.
No. I mean, like, that. Like, Chloe tells you that in the first game. Anyway. So it's 2 years after that, so she's like angsty, depressed teenage, like I smoke now and like who cares if I die? I'm edgy. The trouble is Ashley Burch, who voiced Chloe in the first game, is not returning or did not return for this prequel because, she's part of the writers the voice actor strike that's happening right now. But she was still on the production team, like kind of coaching the current voice actress and, like trying to get her to hit the right notes and, that kind of thing, and help to make sure that like Chloe's character still felt like Chloe in terms of like the writing. So for the most part, the voice acting is passable. Like there are definitely moments where you're kind of like, oh, that's That's
A little rough.
not. That's
Could
not Chloe.
take another pass there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't her parents' voice actors different too? Like David and her mom.
David's voice actor is very, very different. Like I don't recognize him, to be honest. And David,
because he had like the somewhat southern thing going on in the first one.
Yeah, David's voice is pretty strong in the first one. So he's that southern guy who went into the military and he's like a hard ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
so this kind of reminds me of the part where in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air they got a new actress for Aunt Viv. And she was like completely different looking, and it's like, like no.
Yeah.
Trying to float that doesn't seem like it's gonna work.
Mm-hmm. But aside from like those changes, like David doesn't make a big appearance in the first episode, so you can kind of like ignore that. And Chloe's voice actress is passable enough where I'm kind of like, yeah, it's okay. It works out. It's fine. And I think the episode does a really good job of kind of explaining who Chloe was before Max came back to Arcadia Bay. Because it tells the story of when Chloe meets Rachel. And if you guys played through the first game, like Rachel Amber is like spoken of a lot, but you never meet her in the game for many reasons. So you get to see this friendship between Chloe and Rachel develop. And that is where I think the game shines the most. Because the first half of the game, or the first half of the episode, is like seeing Chloe go through, like going to a concert and like going to her first day back at school or something like that. And like you kind of get to see characters like where were they 3 years ago, like from the first game. But then the second half is just like a Yuri bait adventure between Chloe and Rachel. That's pretty great.
Okay. All right. Don't give away the whole thing, man. Like let people, look at it themselves. So.
Oh, just a quick question. Is it running on the same game engine? Didn't they put in a new engine?
Yeah, it's in Unity now. The first game was in Unreal.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I don't really see games doing a jump from Unreal to Unity a whole lot. Because Unity usually has a lot more problems.
Yeah, that's another like red flag for me too.
Some of the animations are a little wonky, but I think it's for the most part still very faithful. Honestly, to the original game. Like I think it's
the art style looks like it's there, but
yeah, I think it's a pretty worthy addition if you really like the characters, which I think is kind of the main reason to like the game. Like to me, it's hard to think of someone who really likes Life is Strange just for the gameplay, because the gameplay was so good. It's like, to me, that's not the core strength of the first game.
I can definitely see them like rewarding players of this prequel when Life is Strange 2 eventually comes out. There's definitely gonna be some references. There's definitely gonna be some things that will mean more to you or hit harder emotionally if you play both games. But like I said, like I don't know if I'm still on the fence whether I'm gonna play this one or I'm gonna wait for the proper sequel. So, but I mean, you said the story's good and it seems like you're high on it. So, I'll give it a look.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like, I mean, there are definitely bad things you can say about it. Like the voice acting is very different. They've changed the powers, so instead of like being able to turn back time, there's like this backtalk system where you like basically insult people until you get them to say yes to you, which is very like edgy Chloe.
That's a Chloe thing to do.
Yeah, the system for it though feels a little meh, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, one last quick question. They didn't put any details out about this exclusive 4th episode for the deluxe edition?
It's called Farewell, has screenshots of like Max in it, so maybe it's like the day Max leaves or something like that.
It's called
Baiting.
Give Us More Money, we'll give you a little thing here.
Yeah. Yeah, baiting.
For $8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
yeah. So,
all right.
Collin, what have you been playing?
So, I finally got a hold of a copy of Horizon Zero Dawn. It's been a game that I've been meaning to play since it came out. It was one of those things where like it came out, everyone's like, dude, Horizon's so good at it. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to be a day one buy for me. Probably not. And because actually what happened, it kind of got ruined for me. So there was some footage going around on like, I think 4chan before the game came out. Mm-hmm. And it was actually alpha footage, but it wasn't labeled as such. And so the gameplay looked like garbage. So I was like, I don't know if I want to get this because like the animation looked really bad, the combat looked really stiff, and it just didn't look like a whole lot of fun. It looked like a Tomb Raider ripoff to me. So I was like, I don't know if I want to get this. But after seeing how good it was, I waited after I played Zelda and stuff and a whole bunch of other games, and I finally got around to picking up a copy. And so when I actually did get a copy on last Friday, I walk out of the game store only to come home and find out that my disc wasn't in the case.
Nice.
Oh, that sucks. I hate that feeling.
I was like, dude, I was so deflated, and the game store was already closed.
More like Horizon Zero Disc.
Yeah,
exactly.
Was it at a local shop or was it at a GameStop?
It was a local shop. It was the place that I usually shop at back home. Level Up, shout out to them. But so I was like, no big deal. So I went back on like Sunday or whatever, and I was like, I walked into the door, and I'm like, dude, I am one dissatisfied customer. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'm just disappointed.
I opened the game case. I'm like, what is this shit? He's like, dude, I am so sorry. I'm like,
damn.
And I give him so much shit for it. But yeah, he got me the case back, and he gave me $10 extra in store credit, actually.
Nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, so that was pretty dope. Anyway, so the game itself, man. First thing that hits you, dude, you start this game up. Oh, by the way, so this game was released February 28th of this year. By Guerrilla Games. It's a PS4 exclusive, and actually the second best-selling game on the PS4 right now in terms of exclusives. 3.4 million copies it sold.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the game itself, the first thing that hits you, graphics for sure. I'm sure you guys have heard a lot about how good this game looks.
Yeah.
Lives up to the hype for sure, especially playing on a PS4 Pro with a 4K TV. Looks incredible. The textures are all very high res.
Is that how you're playing it?
Yeah, actually I am. PS4 Pro, and dude, it's so crisp looking. Yeah, the textures are just really high res. There's a lot of like particle effects going on. There's a lot of like, you can see like the individual blades of grass and everything else.
What about HDR?
I don't have HDR on my TV.
Okay.
So I haven't been able to experience that. And everyone says that's what makes a huge difference for 4K. And I've never seen an HDR display.
Okay.
Ooh.
So yeah, I don't know if you guys have, but
no, but I'm in the market. I'm staving off the urge to go buy a 4K TV. I don't even have a PS4 Pro, but I'm like, oh, they're so cheap now. They're like $400 now for a 55-inch.
Yeah.
Well, dude, honestly though, like the longer you wait, the cheaper they're gonna get. So it's really not hurting you at the end of the day. But yeah, like the textures look really nice. The facial animations are very, very nice. Like almost on the level of like LA Noire type stuff. Like they look better. They look cleaner. But they're like getting ever closer to that uncanny valley kind of thing. It's weird.
Can you like imagine a world where Mass Effect Andromeda has the character animation, the facial animation of Horizon Zero Dawn? That would have made a world difference for that game for me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they're like that's like comparing an Xbox game to a PS4 game, like an original Xbox.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, those facial animations are really bad. But the only problem I've run into with the facial animations is they do get like kind of copy and paste after a while. Like some of the NPCs in the face kind of look the same on the way they talk and the way they move. But otherwise, like they're really, really impressive. And just like the overworld is just incredible looking. It looks lived in. There's a lot of like ruins from a past society. You can tell that there used to be someone else living here, and now this more primitive, basically style or kind of humanity took over, and they kind of just stayed off the land and like the different machines. It's really cool. That's the cool part about the characters, right? Is like the whole core concept of this game is like you're hunting these mechanical versions of animals. And they're actually taking the pieces of these animals and then putting them like on their clothes and on their armor. So like everybody has just random animatronic type like metal looking material all over themselves.
Yeah, to call them animals, they're more machine than animal, right?
Well, yeah, of course, but they're so like animalistic in the way they behave that they're basically just robot animals. If you put a skin of an animal over top like the robot body, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah,
like,
just imagine like
identical.
Going to Chuck E. Cheese and just ripping his fur off, and that's what these things look like, basically.
Yeah, honestly, it's exactly that's a perfect way to describe it. But it also pulls off one of those things where like every single one of them has like one of those glowy eyes. So it's like, oh, that's obviously the weak spot. I mean, some of them are smaller than others, and all of them have like other weak spots other than just their eye because it's so small. But it's one of those things like, oh, well, we're gonna shoot for the eye because that's how you kill it instantly. But yeah, it just makes it really obvious.
So how does it feel to play this game? Because I've heard a lot of great things about it. I've yet to play it myself.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the last thing I have listed here. So the gameplay itself feels very, very smooth. Like your character Aloy controls very nicely, very precisely. A lot of obviously going into this game, I had a lot of comparisons in my head to Breath of the Wild. They both came out around the same time. They both have like the open world mechanics, a lot of climbing, a lot of using your bow. And that's kind of the cool thing, right? Is like the bow mechanics feel a lot like Breath of the Wild, except in Breath of the Wild, it's like you hold left trigger, I think it is, for your bow, and then in this one it's like you hit the left trigger to hold up your bow and the right one to fire. That's the only difference. Yeah. But the cool thing is like you get a shit ton of different bows, like all for different applications. You have like a sniping bow, like a close range bow that does like a lot of damage, or does like elemental damage with like special ammo. And then you have like your close range weapon, which is your spear, which kind of controls kind of like Dark Souls in that like R1 for your light attack, R2 for your heavy attack, and R2 like always knocks down the enemies, and R1 like can take armor off your enemies. But like the only thing that bothers me the most is like, so in Breath of the Wild, one of the biggest mechanics is climbing, right?
Right. And
like you can climb literally everything. Everything. This game you can't. And it pisses me off to no one, because you see me like going up against the wall, like jumping like an idiot. Like, why can't I climb here? And so, like, you have to like look all the way around like a rock wall and find that one notch where you can actually grab onto. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that's like the biggest thing that's annoyed me in the game so far. But in terms of like combat, the healing mechanics are really cool. You have to like collect herbs and berries to like heal yourself. And then like scavenging, finding parts to build like new outfits, armor, weapons, whatever you want. You can sell, buy, trade, all that stuff. But yeah, man, it's a great game for sure.
So, Jack, go ahead, Jack.
I was just gonna say that it came out at a really unfortunate time, right? It's a game very similar in a lot of ways to Breath of the Wild on Switch, and I was playing both of them in tandem. And so I had to like switch off my brain, like, okay, can I climb now? Can I not climb now? You know, you had to kind of really figure out like, oh, which game am I playing again? Because they're so similar in a lot of ways. Also, one thing I want to bring up is that the music in this game is really good. Really, really good music.
Yeah, it is.
All original soundtrack. Stuff. Yeah, really, I can't really point to another game or even a movie with similar music. It kind of has its own unique identity. So that's definitely a highlight. And it's really worth like stating one more time, like just how absolutely like technically gorgeous this game looks. It's like one of the best looking games on console period this year, if not in the last couple of years. It looks phenomenal. And so I'm really jealous of you playing 4K on a PS Pro. That's like the way to do it with this game.
Yeah, it is. It's like the way to play the game. And in fact, it's so confident in its visuals. There's a photo mode within the game where you can just take a photo of like literally anything. Like you can take your character off the screen. You can just take a picture of the landscape. You can change like the contrast, put a filter over it. Like you can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Is it the Unreal photo mode? Like, is it on Unreal Engine?
No, it's Guerrilla's in-house engine that they made.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're going to be using this engine for Death Stranding.
Yep.
Kojima Studios. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Well, Jack, you've been playing a game this week, haven't you?
I found a game that has done the impossible. It's taken me away from Overwatch, and I can't believe it's real. Well, I got the Switch, right, like last week, and one of the games I was really looking forward to playing was Splatoon 2. I actually own Splatoon 1 on Wii U. It's sitting on my shelf. It's out of the shrink wrap, but I have literally never played 1 second of the original Splatoon game, even though I bought the game and I just had it. It's just like collector woes, right? It's just like, that's just the one thing that I hate about myself, is that I'll buy games and never get a chance to get around to them. So I was like, damn it, I'm getting into Splatoon 2, whether I need to play this all day and force myself. So I bought it, downloaded it. It's really convenient. It just lives on my Switch now. I can pick it up and play it. I taught myself how to play it. There is a bit of a learning curve just because it is very unique. You're not necessarily going for kills. I mean, kills are a part of it, but you're trying to paint the whole like multiplayer arena more your color, your team's color, than the other team's color. So it's kind of like MS Paint / Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Not an inaccurate way to describe it. It's crazy.
So, but it's really fun, and man, it is dripping and oozing with style. It has such cool style to it.
Was that a pun?
No, I mean, kind of in a way, right? The Squid Ink kids, but it's a great game. The music is very catchy. They have like their own like made up Squid Kid language, and I just think it's really funny and really entertaining. The overworld runs at like only about 30 or even sometimes sub 30 frames per second, which I thought was a little weird. But when you're in the actual game, it's a solid 60 frames a second, and it just works so well.
Really?
Yeah, I'm loving the Switch so far. I really am. I'm very impressed with it. I love how
laying down on your couch with the screen over your face.
I love that, but I also just love the like flexibility to put it on like the on the dock and play on on the big TV, and then just if you want to just pick it up and just it's a great thing. I don't know. I'm really feeling the Switch. So
I just love the hardware, man. It's so nice.
Yeah, it's primo, man. I definitely think Nintendo is definitely on the right track. It's just such an improvement on the Wii U's concept in almost every single way. Yeah, the only thing, one thing I did want to bring up with you guys when we're talking about the Switch is that they have committed an unforgivable sin with the Switch. There's no music in the menus or in the store or anything. And I'm like, what the actual shit is this? Like, Nintendo has always had the best lobby music. You guys know what I'm talking about? Come on, it's so good. We should put some of it in the show. We should put it in the background.
I don't know about that. But
yeah, then we get hit with copyright strike. It'd be bad.
Here's the thing. I'd agree with you if I had seen my main menu screen in the past week, but I literally haven't, because I always just put it in sleep mode and then boot whatever game I'm playing right back up.
And that's nice, and it actually works on the Switch. It's much more reliable than it is on the Xbox One or the PS4. When you actually put it in sleep mode, it's just because you build and design a handheld with that functionality from the ground up, and Nintendo just always has that kind of vice grip on the quality of their games, so it all works really well. So I feel very confident like putting in sleep, and I'm going to be able to push the button and just pick right back up where I was, and it's going to work every time. So yeah, I love it. No, but Splatoon 2, I mean, I haven't done any salmon runs yet, which apparently are like one of the more fun features, but the thing about Splatoon is like every 2 hours the maps rotate. And so you can only play like 2 multiplayer maps at a time.
Wait, that's kind of dumb.
And then you got to wait 2 hours, and then another 2 come in. So it's very restrictive. And then the salmon runs, which is, again, some of the more fun multiplayer parts, features of that game, those are not around 24/7 either. You have to wait for specific times. It's very...
what?
It's very dependent on like the time of day. It's very Japanese style in that way. And they had a very interesting kind of article about that too. Let me pull this up here, and it was on Kotaku. Let's give them credit. And the name of the article is "Nintendo Designer Explains Why Salmon Run Isn't Always Available." And so he's talking about how Japanese developers aren't necessarily interested in catering to players' specific needs, and it's kind of like a cultural thing, from what I understand. So let me just read the story here real quick. So there was a woman who went to a restaurant in Japan. This is a true story, and she tried to order sugar in a green tea. The people at the cafe said, "One does not put sugar in green tea." And then they also said, "We don't have sugar." But when she ordered coffee instead, it did come with sugar. So in Japan, there's a sense of, we're making this for you, and this is how we think this thing is better enjoyed.
Yeah.
So that's why, in Splatoon, the maps rotate every couple hours and the modes change. And so, the game just kind of goes around with those general Japanese sensibilities, but it's like, this is a specially crafted experience. We need you to experience it the way that we intend it to be. And again, another kind of thing about Japan is you can't really get food to go either. A lot of people don't know this. If you go to a restaurant, like, they are very worried about like foodborne illnesses, so they don't really give you a box to carry your food home. But you can get to-go food, but you can't eat it there and then take the leftovers home, which is a really kind of just another Japaneseism, but I think it's pretty interesting.
Now, is Salmon Run, is that like the what would you call it? Like Horde the wave mode or whatever?
Horde mode, yeah.
Or Horde mode, yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Ask Robert, he would know. I never played it.
I've played it. I don't like Splatoon. I think it's a dumb idea. But their Salmon mode, Salmon Run, is a Horde mode where it's like, from what I've seen, there's usually like a rotating like different big boss that's like roaming the map or something like that, and you're trying to steal these salmon eggs and bring it back to your home base. And it's like you work with a group of 3 other ink squid boys, and you kind of paint the map so you can traverse faster as a squid and get around where you need to and stuff.
I look forward to it. It looks like very fun. I hear a lot about it. And so maybe if I get lucky and I log in during the 2 or 4 hours whenever it's available, I'll actually get to try it out. The last thing I will say is that, okay, the game is, I haven't really like given kind of like the vital statistics about this, but it only came out this July 21st this year. So, you know, a little over maybe 5-6 weeks ago. And already, like, it's coming in as someone who just bought it last week. I'm so behind everyone else, and the matchmaking is absolutely terrible. I'm like level 4, level 5. I'm getting matched up with level 50 characters, level 30 characters.
That's awful.
There's no one really my level. Everyone's like so far ahead because like there are some hardcore Splatoon players, man. They get serious about this game.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me just because when I think of Splatoon, I think it's such a niche market, especially like Splatoon 2, like a sequel to it. So I think the people who really give a shit about Splatoon, they've already bought it. You know, they were there day one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm feeling it.
I don't see Splatoon being that kind of game where it's like, you know, I'll pick it up a couple months later because it's not like a Nintendo game is going to get cheaper in the future. You know,
also, this is a game that is dependent on attributes as well. So it's fair to say that a level 30 character has much better gear, much better capabilities, much stronger weapons than someone that's a level 10 or level 15. So it's really frustrating. I'm sitting here like, why am I sucking? Why am I dying so fast? It's because everyone has such better shit than me. So I'm like really on the struggle bus. But the freshness of the game, the uniqueness of the kind of just the general flow of how the multiplayer handles is interesting enough to keep me in it. I really like the charm of the game. There's enough features there to keep me coming back. So I do recommend it. I'm going to keep playing it. It's like I said, it's not any small task to take me away from Overwatch, which this game has done successfully. So Splatoon 2, check it out on the Switch.
Fair
Only
enough.
on the Switch.
Yeah, if only you also had those Splatoon 2 like Joy-Cons. Have you seen those?
Oh, I love those. Yeah. I asked the guy at the store if they had any, but they were sold out. Those are cool though. Those neon Joy-Cons.
Yeah, like
I thought the Pro Controller was pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, worth $80 for those, I think.
Yeah, I those are probably the color I would get if I was like in the market for new Joy-Cons, but probably won't be buying anything new anytime soon. So let's move on to the new segment, shall we?
Would you be interested, gentlemen, if I told you I would sell you Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo for $100?
No.
Can I pay you tomorrow for a Street Fighter 2 today?
It's a thing. I don't know. Who wants to?
Yeah, I mean, I can slap that.
I'll see. I look at this. I'm like, I mean, obviously, my first reaction is why, right? Like, just
same.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, I am able. Okay, so
well, let's hold on real quick. Let's say what we're talking about. So Capcom.
Oh, yeah.
Capcom is going through a company. What's the name of the company, Robert?
I am 8-bit.
I am 8-bit. Thank you.
8-bit.
Yeah, they're re-releasing Street Fighter 2 for $100 on the Super Nintendo. They're getting in the reproduction business, and it's going to be boxed. It's going to be sealed. There's going to be like 5,000 copies made, something like that.
5,500.
5,500, and 1,000 of them are going to be a glow-in-the-dark Blanca green one. But you'll never know which one you have in the box unless you open it. Like, there's no indicator on the outside of the box. It's just a lucky 1,000 will get a glow-in-the-dark one. The rest are going to be red.
So to be clear, if you buy this in the idea of like I want to play Street Fighter 2, you do need a Super Nintendo.
This isn't a ROM. This isn't a download code. This is an actual reproduction cartridge. It's not an actual Street Fighter 2 cartridge though that they found and bought and repackaged. It's like a blank cart that they uploaded the ROM into or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's not actual Street Fighter 2 cartridges. Again, it's a reproduction, so it's important to know. It's $100.
Yeah. It's $100 fire hazard.
Woo. Yeah, I mean, why would I spend? I mean, if I'm going to spend $100 on a Super Nintendo game, it sure as hell is not going to be a copy of Street Fighter 2. It's going to be like Earthbound or something like that. You know, Earthbound, or unless I can find like an insane deal on a Chrono Trigger cart or something for $100, which I doubt. But like, yeah, I'm not about to spend $100 on a relatively common and quite frankly insuperior version of Street Fighter 2.
It's not the best Street Fighter game on the Super Nintendo. Definitely for my money, I'd go Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which is going to be on the SNES Classic, but also Super Street Fighter 2 would be better over the original Street Fighter 2 on SNES.
Wasn't there also, it was a Was it Street Fighter 2 Turbo Championship Edition, or is that's the arcade cab?
I don't know. There's only three. There's only 3 total on Super Nintendo. But let me tell you guys. All right, I remember I grew up in the era where Street Fighter pretty much ruled the world before Mortal Monday came out and Mortal Kombat was released and kind of took over. But Street Fighter 2, this is how badly I wanted this game back in the day. I went to, I don't remember if it was like Video Game Trader. I don't remember the name of the store. It doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't matter. But it was right off Sawmill Road. I want to say it was like a local kind of shop. I took up my Super Nintendo, like 2 controllers, like the Zapper or whatever, and I want to say like 30 games. Like 30, 40 games, like complete in-box NES games. And I was one of those kids that took like exquisite care of like all my games. Like none of the manuals had any like bent corners or anything like that. It was like pristine. Like, and I kept all my like mail-in cards and warranty cards and all those pamphlets and anything. So I was like meticulous about it. So anyways, I brought that in to this store. And I was able to get the Super Nintendo Core Edition, which is just the Super Nintendo and 1 controller. So it didn't come with Super Mario World and 2 controllers. And then I was able to get Street Fighter 2. And I think I still had to pay $10.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's how bad I wanted Street Fighter 2. That at the time, like, of course now, like looking back, it's stupid as hell. But at the time, I was like, I got Street Fighter 2, all right. So those are kind of the memories I have with it. And I played the crap out of Street Fighter 2, obviously. It was my only game for like months.
Right.
And then you kicked everyone's ass at it, right?
I'm pretty good at Street Fighter 2. I'm not the best, but, you know, my Shoto game is somewhat strong.
It's fair.
Keep my pimp hand strong.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah. But going back to this modern day cartridge, like... I just don't see the reason why. Like, you can easily get a Super Nintendo version of Street Fighter 2 very easily. It's literally just for the sake of collecting, and those scalpers that are like, hey, gonna buy this up so I can sell it to people, you know what I mean? Just because there's a limited amount. Yeah. That's the only reason. And I mean, even in this article, according to The Verge, like, there's a really odd warning that comes with the game from IM8-bit. The warning says... Use of this reproduction game cartridge, in parentheses, the product, on the SNES gaming hardware may cause the SNES console to overheat or catch fire. The SNES hardware is deemed a vintage collectible, so please exercise extreme caution when using the product and make sure there is a fire extinguishment equipment nearby.
Yeah, that's the craziest part. Make sure you have...
user, like, what? Like, I can't tell if this is a joke or if it's real.
Like it makes me
real.
wonder, did all SNES cartridges have this thing, this warning that no one's ever said, or is there just something weird with this cart?
It's the latter. It's the latter.
I don't get it, because it's not like there's any sort of ventilation. Like, there's no fans on a Super Nintendo.
I don't take this warning very seriously. Like, oh man, I need to keep a fire extinguisher nearby, or, you know, the house is going to burn down. I don't take it that way, but I do take it as, you know, they're really just trying to cover their ass legally, because this game does not have the Nintendo seal of approval. You know, it's a reproduction, and if anything were to happen, they just want to, you know, rid themselves of any kind of liability. But I don't think you're in danger if you play this game of the game being so shit hot that it burned your house down.
Dude, you pull them like crazy, like 30 hit super combos, man. SNES is like, holy shit, I can't handle it. Just explodes, bursts into flames.
Oh god!
When you
Killer combo.
When you hit
Wrong
that
game,
30th
I know, but
hit,
still,
it blows up.
Yeah,
it's all over.
Yep, it's all over.
Yeah.
No, like, dude. But here's the thing, though. Like, I have actually bought. I actually bought a product from IM8-bit before, and they do like good work on their packaging. They make a really nice product. I had my limited run of Hyperlight Drifters from IM8-bit. Obviously, that's a disc. It's a PS4 game. But they do a really nice job of making the box and the label up real nice. And they put like extra stuff in the box and like a map and an actual manual. And the art looks really nice. The game itself had a reversible cover and everything. So they make good stuff. I just don't understand what's going on with this whole warning thing. But like you said, it could be just be legal shit and them trying to cover their ass. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
That's really
Nintendo is pretty strong about their brand.
And they do not sanction this. This is not an official release.
Right. In other news, so last week, I believe, we mentioned that Games Done Quick was going to do a charity over the weekend for Hurricane Harvey. Or for those affected by Hurricane Harvey, I should say. And they tweeted right at the end of their charity stream that they had raised a little bit over $225,000 to donate, which is kind of amazing to see something that doesn't matter, like video games, help out in this kind of way, you know?
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's too cool, man. It's something to be said about a group of people that can come together in times like this. You know, I mean, gamers get a lot of flack, right? I think we talked about this in the last show, but it's like, we are one of the most passionate fan bases there is, and you know, we'll come to you when times of needs for sure.
And that money goes directly to the Houston Food Bank, I want to say.
I think so.
Yeah, and like, you know, a lot of people have some apprehension to donate directly to the Red Cross, you know, for whatever reasons with the Haiti earthquake and all that stuff, the way funds are kind of handled there. But you know, if you want to give somewhere, you know, your money's going to go to the good of Houston and the good of the people that are suffering right now due to the hurricane, like Food Bank of Houston is a solid choice. So it feels good to do some good there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they, like, if things like this are going to be kind of unfortunately more regular in the future, because, you know, we've already got Irma on the horizon, and on the further horizon there are already two more storms that have just been classified as hurricanes.
Right now, as the world turns, there are 3 hurricanes. One's a Category 5, all headed to smack America in the face.
Florida, right, is going to be the main.
America is Florida, but yeah.
Well, fair enough. Yeah. Hurricane Irma is at Category 5 now, and then close behind it, there's Jose, which is further east of Irma right now. It's like way out in the ocean right now, but it's a Cat 1 right now. And then Katia. You sure?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It
I'm
looks
not
like
sure,
Kasha.
but
I don't know,
Katia probably.
Who knows?
Hurricane Katia is at Category 1 as well, and that's kind of south, like kind of in the nook of Mexico in the Gulf.
Yeah, that could hit Houston again.
It could, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
I don't know.
So wait, what's the trajectory of Jose right now? Does anyone know?
Yeah, it's just basically like 2 or 3 days behind Irma.
Yeah,
it's in the same place.
Oh, so it's going the exact same direction?
Yeah, but I mean, hurricanes are there's so many millions of variables. Like they can't, you know, the further away in time you get, the much harder it is to predict, just because so many things could change. So it is kind of in that cone of danger, or whatever they call it, cone of prediction, to hit the same track that Irma is hitting right now. So I saw videos of that, and I showed you guys videos of what Category 5 force winds look like, and it is terrifying. I don't see how anything could make that. I don't see how a structure could, you know, withstand those kind of winds. It's really scary. So, you know, definitely thinking about all the people that are pretty much evacuating right now. I'm sure there's people in Southern Florida, right, that are like panic mode. I know the Keys in Southern Florida got mandatory evacuation. Like all the schools are shut down, everything. They're like, just get out. Like, you are not allowed to be here now. It's you will not live, basically.
Yeah, already some islands in the Caribbean have been hit pretty hard by Irma. It's just crazy.
With this kind of uptick in crazy activity, it's kind of inevitable as well to run into the old climate change debate. And we don't get too political on the podcast, but I do want to air one grievance I have just with the term, like, climate change. Like, does anyone remember when I got to get this off my chest. Does anyone remember when we just called it global warming? We just called it what it is. It's global warming.
That's just what politics does. Like, political figures, man, they like to make euphemisms for things. You know what I mean? Like, PTSD used to be called shell shock.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but they're like, nah, it's too gritty of a word. It's too, you know what I mean? It's not
not round
harsh
enough. It's too sharp. Yeah, it's hurting people. But like, call it what the fuck it is, man. Like, climate change, it is changing. It's not inaccurate what you're saying, but it is misleading because it's only getting hotter. The trend, you know, and that's why these tropical storms, these tropical depressions are getting so insanely severe, is because the water all in the Atlantic and the Caribbean is much hotter. And when I'm talking about much hotter, I'm talking like 3-4 degrees on average. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's just the sweet spot you need to get these winds and the kind of circular motion to get as severe as it's getting. That's all it takes. Right. And so and again, I'm not here to debate like whether or not you believe in climate change or in global warming. I just hate the fact that they change things up, like they rename things. Like, I know the same guy that coined that term climate change, he also coined the estate tax, the death tax, because like, oh, if you die, you got to pay tax. And like, while technically it's true, he's making things that he doesn't like and agree with sound much harsher, and things that he wants to steer away from due to lobbying and due to, other issues, he wants to make those sound softer. So it's like, it doesn't really work both ways, man. So I can't remember the guy's name, but he's actually like a news analyst. I'm pretty sure he goes on a lot of cable news networks and talks. But we did a study on him in class at Ohio State too. So I just need to air that out. Like, I hate when I hear climate change because it's just global warming. It's not global cooling. We didn't have like a part of the ice shelf fall off of Antarctica, like the size of like Australia or some shit.
It got too cold.
I might be exaggerating or something, but it was a huge fucking part of Antarctica fell off. It's not from global cooling. Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, dude, anyone who watched Al Gore's like An Inconvenient Truth has at least an inkling of what the hell's been going on. I mean, say what you want about Al Gore, dude, but it's like, the pictures don't lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's all there is to it.
I don't know. As long as we're airing grievances, like coming from a journalism standpoint, I'm kind of sick and tired of the idea of false equivalency. Do you guys know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Collin, do you know?
Jog my memory.
So it's the idea of like, there are always two sides to an issue. And to be fair, we have to present both sides equally and fairly. But like, you don't have to do that with science. You really don't it's sure you can say fire is hot and it hurts to hold your hand above fire, but for the sake of equivalence, let's bring over this scientist who believes that fire is actually the future to prevent global warming because it's a much colder substance than usual. Like, obviously he's a fucking idiot, and obviously that's not science, and there's no reason to like give him any light of day. Right. And it's in the same way that like we shouldn't be giving these quote scientists who say like global warming is a hoax perpetrated by China. We should not be giving them any light of day because it's clearly not the case.
Yeah.
Real talk, stupid, preach,
man.
brother.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, facts are facts, man. There's not really any argument there when 99% of scientists are like, yeah, global warming's real.
Yeah, there's no argument anymore that there is not a consensus reached. Like, a consensus has been reached. No one wants to listen. It's all fueled by financial gain. It's all looking short term. And it's not considering the consequences. And I truly believe this is also part of the reason why Tesla's stock is so overinflated. Tesla's stock, for a company that has never posted a profit ever, is incredibly high. And it's because of in my opinion, again, I'm not speaking from an expert point of view, but in my opinion, it's because people want this technology to exist. They want clean energy. They want clean cars. They want solar paneled roofs. They want to get off the electronic grid. They want to reduce their carbon footprint. And as these technologies become cheaper, more readily available, that it's like banking on the future, right? That's why Tesla stock is so high. And because again, they have never posted a profit. They've only posted losses ever since they've really come into the public eye. So that's kind of pointing the future. We'll see where it goes. Elon Musk is a crazy character. I don't know if you guys follow him much, but
he's a weird,
cool
guy.
I mean, he hardly a week goes by if he doesn't make headlines somewhere.
Yeah. But welcome back to the Tiny Disc Podcast.
Hey,
we're talking about video games.
Woosah, woosah.
So Randy Pitchford of Gearbox, he has said at PAX, which happened over the weekend, that, quote, "We are working on the thing I think most of you guys want us to be working on," end quote.
That's season 2 of Dad and Son RPG Final Fantasy. This time it's on Hulu, right?
I'd watch it. I would watch that probably. But my money is on Battleborn 2.
Battleborn 2?
It's ripe. It's ready. Like, by the time it comes out, Overwatch is probably going to be dead. And that'll be it. That's when Battleborn swoops in.
Surely you
kid. Dude, no. If they do make a sequel to Battleborn, it's not going to be Battleborn 2. It's going to be 2 Battle 2 Born.
Battle Reborn.
Nice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
2 Battle Reborn. Oh, yeah. It's so hard. It's so hard. It's going to be a mashup between Aliens, Colonial Marines, and Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh, I'd buy that.
Colonial Duke Nukem.
Dude.
Like, he's sick and tired of this shit, so he's going to go to the moon.
Game over, man. Game over.
No, but real talk, it's probably something related to Borderlands. Whether it's like...
Trey.
Yeah, whether it's Borderlands 3 or like Borderlands the pre-sequel sequelitis prequel, or fucking, I don't know, Borderlands the card game.
They are like
something.
they need to have a Borderlands come out like almost every year. I hate to say it. I don't think that's a good idea, but I say that because everything they put out sucks now. It's so bad. Everything's bad, and they need money, and they like making money. And if they want to make money, they're gonna work on Borderlands 3, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, and I hope it's Borderlands 3. Like, I want to see a really good Borderlands come out. The only problem I have with it is that what are they going to do with it to make it fresh? Mm-hmm. I don't really know at all, really.
To maybe take a lesson from the video game that's plaguing every news site right now. Like, seriously, if you go to IGN or GameSpot right now, there are at least 20 headlines about Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. But what if Borderlands 3 was kind of like Destiny 2? Where instead of playing 4 specific Vault Hunters, you just create a Vault Hunter. And, you know, like you go through a bunch of these MMO type missions.
That's something that's going to have to need. It's going to have to move the needle, though, like you said, Colin. It's going to have to do something like that we don't even know we want yet. Right. In order to really like rise to relevance and break through the clutter. It's going to have to do something that we can't even consider right now, I think. If they give us more of Borderlands 2, I'm out, and I'm swearing off the series forever. But it's going to have to do something pretty revolutionary to get the attention of everybody, I think. What was the last Border games that came out?
Borderlands.
It was Borderlands the pre-sequel.
Yeah, was that? Well, how was that?
Technically, Tales of the Borderlands that came out after, right? But
but I'm talking about like the core FPS. Like, how was that?
I never played it.
What I've heard is if you liked Borderlands 2, it's more of the exact same.
Okay, they can't do that again.
Yeah.
They really can't. They already lost me on Borderlands 2. Someone who played, I said this on the show, I played Borderlands 1 like multiple hundreds of hours, probably 150, 200 hours probably total. And then to lose me on Borderlands 2, like, how does that happen? You know, I know I'm an exception. I'm not like, you know, the typical case, but I've definitely fallen away from the series, and Borderlands 3 is going to have to do some really cool stuff. I'm open to the idea. You know what? Oh, if they have a battleground mode, that would be like sick as fuck.
PvP?
Yes, like 100 people. Like if they, games are going to have a battleground. No. Those are happening. If they do that in the Borderlands universe, that could be cool. Or an offshoot thereof.
I'm not gonna. Actually, I'm kind of for that.
No,
I'm kind of for that.
I'm against that. And you know why? Because to me it sounds like, you know, back in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, like there were a lot of these games that were like, hey, Call of Duty successful because they have a team deathmatch, so let's make Far Cry, but let's throw in team deathmatch. It's gonna sound like that, you know, where it's like they're making Borderlands 3 and they're like, hey, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds really, really good. Look, why don't we throw that in there? You know, it's. I
agree with you. It's rotten. I agree with what you're saying. You're not wrong, but you have to know that there are tons of games that are going to be aping this gameplay now because of the success. I mean, PlayerUnknown Battleground just passed the $10 million mark, or 10 million units sold mark, and we just talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like they're at 8 million. Like they are like growing at a meteoric rate, and it's making money, and they're selling it at $30 a game. Borderlands 3 is going to be, you know, double that at least, and then probably over $100 when you factor in the season pass, because they'll probably do that stuff too. So I'm just saying, for better for worse, I think it would be a smart business decision for them to, if they want to make money, to have something sort of like that in their game. I think I can see them in a boardroom where someone's bringing up PUBG. I'll just put it that way. The talks are happening.
I can see it for sure. It would just be about how they would execute it, like how well it would be done within that game. I think it could benefit from, like Robert said, more of like a Destiny feel where they do have like a character customization.
Yeah.
Or like you just make your own character. Only problem with that I said, like, is there skill trees in Destiny?
Yeah, they're all right. They're not as in depth as Borderlands. But what I mean when I say they ape Destiny is not like literally make Destiny 3. It's like the idea of, like with Borderlands 2 and to an extent Borderlands 1, they tried to do like a, you know, end game, if you could even call that end game. You can keep grinding for cooler loot, get those gold guns, right? But it's like, who gives a shit? It's a single player game. Maybe you can co-op, but that's kind of it. So why not? And on top of that, there was only a set number of missions. It's not like you could grind the same mission or like this raid over and over again. So why not just lean harder into like, make it an MMO? Because that's clearly what you want. Like, why would you make this variety of loot with all these guns that can have all these small but significant modifications, and then say, yeah, but it's only PvE, it's whatever, or it's only like you just play through the campaign and you're done. It's, like, to me that's dumb.
I think we all do stand in agreement. So they're gonna have to come up with something more, right, to stand a chance. So I'm interested. I think this game is at least 2, 3, maybe even 4 years out. If they're announcing, talking about it, we'll see. But I think when we first hear or see about it at an E3, it'll be 2 years after that probably till we actually start playing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's with any game, right? Like I hope, when we hear about a game coming out, I hope it comes out and just blows my freaking socks off. You know what I mean? I want games to succeed, and I want this to be a good game. I really enjoyed the first Borderlands, just like Jack did. I got it on my 360, played the shit out of it. I made a lot of friends through that game too, online because of it. And when Borderlands 2, it kind of fizzled out about halfway through. And so if they want to, really pull me back in, they're going to have to do something fresh.
Some VR, some VR component will probably be shoehorned into it too. Who even knows if VR will be a thing by then? But it's probably a safe bet.
They're like, people are speculating that this might come out fiscal year 2019, so April 2018 through March 2019, because Take-Two, the publisher who owns who owns Borderlands, and like Gearbox develops it for them and all that, they said that they have a anticipated new title from one of their biggest franchises to come out in fiscal 2019. So could be lining up to be the new Borderlands.
Hey, now we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see a successful Borderlands, because that game has enough charm, but sometimes doesn't really have the gameplay to support it.
I just don't want to see this studio close down. Borderlands 3 fails. Safe to say that the studio, their success depends on this game, I would say.
Yeah, kind of.
So for that reason alone, I'm on its side. I'm on their side.
Yeah. Well, that, I think, wraps up the news that we have for this podcast. So I'm going to throw it now over to Jack, who has a Would You Rather for us this week.
All right. Get ready, guys. This is something I kind of just came up with right before the show. So, would you rather? Would you rather always need to sneeze and never be able to, or always have two eyelashes stuck, or an eyelash stuck in both eyes at all times? That feeling. They both suck, but which one sucks less? Discuss.
Wow. Okay. So okay.
The inspiration the inspiration for this question was, I had this feeling where I had to sneeze, but I couldn't. And it was one of the worst things I've ever experienced in my life. I don't know if that's ever happened to you guys, but it really sucks. When you're like,
look up at a light.
Okay, when you're like half sneezing for like a minute, it's like torture. Okay,
so, fair enough. I don't know. First of all, if you have to sneeze, look up at a light. It'll make you sneeze. That's like a thing. Yeah, but
I've never heard of that.
I don't know
before.
Because it's a thing. When I feel like I'm about to sneeze, I feel like I would at least still be able to function, or at least try to get used to it. Thing is, like, when I have stuff in my eye, it bothers the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's like I need to get this out of my eyeball right now, or else I'm just gonna hold my eye closed for the rest of eternity until it happens.
Do you wear contacts?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Does the idea of putting contacts on your eyes freak you out?
I mean, it doesn't really freak me out. I don't really like anything that has to do with like eyes and horror movies and shit. Freaks me the fuck out. Yeah. I don't like anything near my eye, really. I mean, putting contacts in is one thing, but anything else, like foreign objects in my eye, no go.
It's bad enough having one eyelash in your eye, under your eyelid, but having both.
Yeah.
How do you even drive?
I think I might lean more toward the eyelash thing, because
wow.
I don't think I could ever get used to the idea of always being just about to sneeze.
It would really suck.
Because I couldn't even record this podcast and be like, today, we're gonna welcome to Tiny. Oh God,
And you can never, and you would never like cross that threshold, right? Of like the satisfaction of just snotting all over yourself and getting whatever's in there out.
You can't even blow your nose.
Robert sounds like you're either you just ate an extremely hot pepper or you're about to cream your pants.
It was getting a little hot in here, I gotta say. Yeah, a little steamy.
Look, all I'm saying is,
oh God.
Yeah, accurate though, because that's how it'd be. You would be suffering.
Yeah, you're looking for that sweet, sweet release.
And it never happens.
It never happens.
So you take the eyeball, so your eyes would probably be watering all the time.
You probably look more like you're almost seizing if you're in public, looking like you have to sneeze all the time.
Yeah, like,
like, are you having a stroke?
Yeah, people would think there's like some medical issue that needs serious attention right now.
Right.
I don't know, dude. They're both awful.
I don't know. With the eyelash things, I feel like I get used to it. Like maybe I just squint forever, so I just look at everyone like Liam Neeson looks at everyone in Taken. But it's something it's a little more like you can get used to it than like constantly my face is contorted because I'm about to sneeze. Like my face is always buried in my elbow. How are you doing?
So you ever seen Clockwork Orange?
Yeah.
Just go around with those eye clamps that just hold your eyes open the whole time, and then the eye drops just go in. Like that'd be your life.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Dude, was that honestly though? Like in that scene, on a side note, was that prosthetics or was that real?
That was real.
The part in that movie.
That was real.
That was like, holy shit.
Yeah, where they're in the movie theater where they're holding his eyelids open.
Yeah,
that's absolutely real. Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, because nothing about that part looks fake to me, and I've watched it and I'm like, dude, did someone really sit there with their eyes open like that?
Also,
while they were filming?
He depended on people to like put eye drops in his eyes too. So also, just another side note, as we're talking about eyeball stuff, is that if you ever plan, and I do, hopefully one day, I would love to get LASIK surgery just because my nearsightedness is off the charts. Like literally, it's like to the far right of the bell curve.
Oh, dude!
So
don't even get me started.
So I would love to get LASIK, but I'm going to tell you guys from firsthand experience, if anyone out there listening is considering getting eye surgery, do not YouTube it. You don't want to go there.
It's too late for me, bro. It's too late.
I told
it's
people,
so terrible.
So in my office, I told people about this. I was like, listen, if you're ever thinking about getting eye surgery, do not look at this. So what do? Of course, 3 of them pull it up on their computer, and I shit you not, dude, the entire row started screaming in terror. Like, now, what are you looking? Oh my! They couldn't believe it. It caused a scene. That's how bad those videos are.
Now, Jack, dude, you just told a story about how you told people to not do this, and they proceeded to do it.
Yes.
And now you are telling people again, don't do. Are you a masochist?
I'm fully aware of what I'm doing to people.
Okay, good.
But I'm saying, this is a chance, an opportunity, if you will, to exert a bit of emotional intelligence here, and you're just gonna have to take my word for it and not search that on Google. Do not do that.
He's manipulating you. Just forget everything that happened in the past 5 minutes.
You saw it, Collin, then?
Yeah, I had the displeasure of seeing, like, I watched a full video, like a full LASIK surgery. Dude, it is like the most brutal, like most metal thing. It's like that scene in Dead Space 2 where you like had to put that fucking nail in Isaac Clarke's eye.
I hated that part.
And it's like, I fucked that part up so many times. And I was like, oh my God, this is horrifying. But it's like, like watching it, like, should I just talk about the procedure?
No. I mean, I was gonna say something real kind of like friendly for everybody, like a way to easily visualize it. But the way it's basically equivalent of having a machine.
Pause.
What?
Should I take off my headphones first?
No.
I want to hear this.
Just listen. It's fine. I'm going to be talking about fruit here. So if you imagine a machine that can hold a grape and like peel precision the skin off of a grape.
This isn't making it any better.
And then like, we have no host on this podcast. We have no host.
Dude, Robert the metaphor's not going to make it any better.
He's not
like,
here.
People can picture what the fuck you're saying.
So that's the Tiny Disc Podcast, everybody. Welcome back to the show, Robert Scarpadino.
God, I still need to edit that too. God.
It's like cutting like a door shape, into the skin, peeling it back, and then shooting a laser into. Then shooting a laser into it. Okay, putting it shooting a laser into the grape and then closing it and then sewing it back up, and that's it. Okay, I'm done. Thumbs up. Okay.
Yeah, and the eye just like suctions the incision shut.
Now Collin's just colder now as soon as he puts his headphones back on. Okay, we gotta be done with the show. We gotta wrap this up.
You guys are awful.
All right, but that's what I'm telling you, in reality, that's what it is. So LASIK surgery. So you said you'd rather have things in your eyeballs forever.
Yes.
You'd have eyelashes in your eyeballs for the rest of your life.
I think that's a lot easier to get used to.
And I can see it working. It would still be incredibly uncomfortable and cumbersome, but I can see it. But Collin, you decided to go the other way.
After much thought and hearing your guys' explanations, I think I'm gonna go with eyelashes in the eyeballs, Cotton.
You hate that stuff.
I do, but it's like I also don't want to look like I'm having a stroke 24/7. So
Yeah, exactly. A sneeze is a whole body affair.
Will you do that one more time, please? What it's like?
Do what?
Yeah, you did a good impression of it.
Okay, so, jeez. So what it's like?
We need the visual too.
You do? Okay, so what it's like?
We need Twitch already.
What it's like to always be on the verge of sneezing. It's not like you just deal with it with your mouth. It's your whole body, like it contorts. Whereas with the eyelashes,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, with the eyelashes, you're just blinking, kind of. You're like, this sucks. Ew.
Yeah, because if thinking of some of my past sneezing experiences, Robert, I don't know. Have you had the displeasure of seeing or hearing me sneeze? I don't know if you have.
No, but apparently you write down every time you sneeze and describe
you have a diary or some shit.
Yeah, I do. Every time I write it, I have like a sneeze diary.
This morning it was a really bad one.
Yeah,
January 7th, 8:49 p.m.
It was a foggy morning
this time.
Yeah, I'm like on the floor. Someone has to hold my head up.
Jeez. So
no,
what?
Like,
talk about your sneezing real quick. What do you mean?
No, they're just like my sneezes are just like sometimes they're not anything. They're just like it's like I really hold them down. Like if I'm in class or something like that, I'm gonna try to like hold it down a little bit because I don't want to be like a disturbance. But sometimes it just catches me off guard and it's like a full body like
earth shattering, world ending sneezes.
Yes. And like, let me tell you, dude, like my abs hurt sometimes after I sneeze. Like it's just like I'm flexing that shit, and it's like I just went through like Ab Ripper X on P90X or some shit. But let me tell you, the most iconic sneeze I know of personally is my grandpa. Grandpa.
Wait, who? Wait, hold on a second. Hold the fucking phone. Who?
What is happening?
Hold on.
My grandpa.
Did you hear that? Say it again.
What? My grandpa?
Okay, you were saying grandpa. You were saying grandpa. And grandpa. Pa, not
grandpa. Okay, I say it a certain way, but it's
that's all. It's really weird. That's all. It threw me up. I never heard anyone say my grandpa.
It's like you guys love ripping apart my accent or my English or whatever. I don't know.
My grandpa. Okay. I got you.
Yeah, dang it. Okay. Anyway.
Okay, how does he sneeze?
So this is how he sneezes. Like I'm just picturing my grandpa like sitting in his lazy boy, and then all of a sudden it just hits him, dude. And it's like it's an experience. It's like he revs up and he's just kind of like, whoa, yeah, dude. Like I'm talking like it's like almost like a fully automatic machine gun.
Interesting.
Like very high pitched, but it's the most ridiculous thing. And it's like, oh my god, it's like his soul is leaving his body while he sneezes.
So it's like 5 rapid fire sneezes in succession.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
See me, it's like you guys ever seen Cat in the Hat?
The live action wonderful movie.
Yes.
With
Oh my gosh, the live action, that nightmare fuel.
The Emmy Award winning
Yes.
greatest movie of all time.
So do you remember them fake ass sneezes that Alec Baldwin was doing when he's like, I'm allergic to cats?
You guys
and he's
are
like,
talking about that movie.
That's me when I sneeze sometimes. And my grandpa's like the exact opposite.
Hold on, Jack. Are you not a fan of this movie?
I'm incredulous. What? Wait, no, we can't bring up that movie. That movie is one of the worst movies of all time. Have you guys ever seen? You know where I saw this movie first? There's a YouTube video that shows the Cat in the Hat movie. This is the one with Mike Myers, right? The live action one.
Yeah.
Okay, so It's objectively one of the worst movies ever made. I don't know if you guys are aware, but it really is.
Yeah.
And it sunk that director. It sunk that whole studio. It lost like hundreds of millions of dollars. But anyways, aside from all that, this YouTube video is really funny because anytime that it gets like weird or pedophilia-y and just really creepy, the movie speeds up by like 5%. So then the whole video is only like 9 minutes long because it happens so often.
Great.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining.
I don't know. I think that movie is great to play a drinking game too. I did that once. It's pretty good. It got me feeling pretty right.
Oh man, I feel like I seriously feel like you have to drop acid to enjoy that movie. I'm not even trying to be funny.
Oh come on, it's enjoyable in the like it's so bad it's weird.
It's very bad
kind of way.
Ooh, it's
I'm sorry, baby. I love you.
Okay, let's never speak of this again. Oh gosh.
With that, let's wrap up here. I think. So Jack, do you want to hit off with the email?
Yeah, guys, if you definitely have an opinion on the Would You Rather, or if you have any Would You Rather ideas, any questions that you'd like us to read on the show, you can email us at tinydiscpodcast@gmail.com. Also, any comments there you can leave, or also make sure to hit us up on iTunes and give us a good review too.
Yeah. You can also tweet to us using, you can follow us on Twitter at tinydiscpodcast, or you can tweet to us using the hashtag tinydisc. We look at both. Do not tweet to hashtag TDP. That is old and forgotten. You can also follow us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page and a Facebook group, and we also have a YouTube channel where we upload our podcast there too as well.
And let us know what you guys think of this shorter format. As you can see, we're trying to go a little bit shorter, kind of compact our what we got going on, what we're talking about in the podcast a little bit more to come at you a little bit, firing from the hip a little bit more, kind of like a little bit more short form, so you guys, can get in and get out a little bit quicker. So
yeah, give us feedback, good or bad. We want to hear it.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that should be it for us this week. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next Thursday.